Today, we're going to talk content strategy for LinkedIn in 2025. I'm going to share with you my content creator plans for LinkedIn and YouTube and working on those two platforms together. Hello. And what the LinkedIn Fundamentals course for creators has given me for insights and planning of 2025. This video has two essential parts. In the first part, we're going to tackle the connection of LinkedIn and your big goals. So you don't create for the sake of creation, but you really achieve key milestones for your career and business with LinkedIn and understand the right metrics that show if you are moving along the right direction. And the second part of this video is more about instruments. I'm gonna share 5 key types of posts I chose for myself for the next year, and also 5 post formats that LinkedIn advises as, so they call it posting strategies. So let's dive in. First thing you wanna do when you are starting to plan your content creation strategy is actually plan your life strategy. If it's anything related to your professional goals, your job goals, or your media goals, like your creator goals, of course, it's for LinkedIn. So the types of goals I would recommend you to think about is your career, like what positions you want to hold. Maybe not limiting you to only your key job, but maybe you want to achieve a volunteering position, maybe a mentorship position. Maybe you have a dream of becoming a university lecturer. Also, if you want to achieve some creatorship goal, like to be this media recognized expert. As for my goals for 2025, I've chosen 2 areas I want to excel in the most. And those are realization as an author and speaker, and the second one is money. I want to dig deeper into what's going on in the AI business and share that as a big subject matter expert, as an author, as an influencer. But I also want to attract clients and earn money, and one of the skills I want to progress in is actually sales, because I'm a good researcher. I would say I'm a decent speaker, but I'm a really bad salesperson. I want to change that in 2025. When I'm thinking about those 2 big areas in my life I want to improve, I'm also thinking about 2 platforms for sharing the expertise with the world. I would use YouTube, plus all kinds of publications and speaking engagement. And LinkedIn is this targeted instrument where you can segment your audience to the very detailed niche of their startup and the year they founded and the school the person went to, and all those tiny details matter. So LinkedIn is the platform that is going to bring me to my sales goals. Strategy has been really a tough call for me on LinkedIn because there are some beliefs that experts put into your head. Maybe they're putting that for a reason, but it's just not true. You should only choose one focus, like one target audience persona, one expertise of yours, one goal of yours, and tackle it for a long period of time, ideally several years. You have to post regularly. If you don't do that, if you don't post 5 times per day, it's just not enough. And you have to stick to your content plan, because if you just post randomly 5 times per week, it's also not going to do you any good. This one is particularly about YouTube. You have to research, carefully plan your posts and videos for the algorithm to pick up. And unless you do it, you are never going to see any views and any followers on your channel. The longer I clinged to those beliefs, the longer I postponed my posting strategy, or what I've actually done before with my LinkedIn. I have devised some kind of strategy, some kind of goals and posting formats, and maybe a content plan, but later on I didn't stick to it just because it was too artificial, or maybe too random, or it didn't accommodate all my goals and all the types of expertise I have. For example, if you are writing for startup founders, you are only writing about startups, about fundraising, about the strategy of the business. You cannot go deep into marketing. If you are writing for marketers, founders are not going to be interested. The answer to this is partially in the LinkedIn course, because when they advise about your profile in general, they recommend writing from the first person and always including your mission, like what you headed towards, what you're passionate about, not only a set of skills and a set of niches like marketing and startups. And that kind of led me to a conclusion that if my mission is to help startups launch products, I can write about startups. I can write about fundraising. I can write about go-to-market strategy, about marketing, about technology trends, about marketing trends, about future of work trends, about hiring your team for your startup, about work-life balance even, because if you are a founder, you need to keep that. So we are looking for our mission, and then we are crafting our profile and our content on that. When you know the areas your LinkedIn or other platform is improving, you need to ask how you understand what good means. LinkedIn also talks about that in their course. They say that if you want to be an influencer, so an opinion leader, you need big audiences. But otherwise, if you are an expert who wants to be known in their niche, for example, to be featured in niche-specific magazines or asked to speak at, again, niche-specific conferences, you could set a goal to connect with X number of people in your industry. It shouldn't be about thousands. It should be about meaningful conversations. For example, if you are a product manager or a software developer working in fintech, you don't need many followers, but you need to be known by top 5 or top 10 companies in your industry. You need to be known by the hiring managers, by the recruiters, and by the teams in those companies. So what you do, you write down the list of those companies you want to be known in, and you start connecting with their representatives. Maybe you go to conferences to be known. Maybe you publish an article in an outlet like VentureBeat. And then maybe you share your article with those relevant hiring managers and ask them their opinion. This could be a great funnel, by the way, if you are looking for a new job, but not immediately, with a longer-term perspective. I am focusing on being a better advisor for founders, and besides the growing of number of followers, I would love to focus on connecting with more and more founders. Besides the number of meaningful connections with founders, I would also love to focus on meaningful connections with top VC and with top media platforms, and also potentially with the top conference organizers. And the way LinkedIn and YouTube are going to work for me together is that if I connect with a super meaningful person on LinkedIn, like a partner at a venture firm, like an editor of a business magazine, the next step I do, I invite them to do a podcast together on YouTube. So it's not the thousands. Maybe I've talked to 50 people in my industry and recorded podcasts with 10 of them. And it would be an amazing result, because I'm going to be known by that and not only by gaining several thousands followers. Before starting posting, LinkedIn advises in their course to focus on your subject matter, like what topic you're expert in, then your end goal. So again, your job, your career, your contracts, your influence, and then they advise to test and learn. Let's dive into the specifics of what they mean by that. When LinkedIn talks about powerful posts, they suggest 5 important formats. First, leadership and career advice. LinkedIn mission is changing and improving the way world works. So they want to know everything about the future of work. The wages, the hiring, the team management, the career progressions. So anything that's career related is super loved by the platform. Number 2, comment on industry news and trends. Whatever industry you're working on, the industry specific news are the things that LinkedIn wants you to share, post, and comment with your individual take. Throughout the entire course, they are telling that you got to be posting something that's uniquely you. It doesn't mean that you have to invent the wheel, but it's got to be containing something that only you can produce, and no generic AI and no Google can show if you do not post it. So industry news plus your take. Then professional news, conferences, events. They want you to share your achievements, boast a little bit, show the conferences you attend, the product launches, the courses you complete, the career moves, like everything that shows your career trajectory in bite-sized steps. Then they want you to show the backstage. What they are calling this is behind the scenes, you working in your natural environment, or going to a conference, or maybe some intermediate results, if you can share them. Anything from the work process. And the final thing is they want experts to comment their company news. The company has achieved some big milestone, and you are posting it with your unique take and your participation in this process and in this achievement. So those are 5 formats from LinkedIn. And now I'm going to share 5 formats from me. And it's fun because I have actually assembled my own formats before watching the course. So let's compare if I have guessed what LinkedIn wants. The first one is value posts. I want to give some specific actionable value to the startup founders who follow me. And the part of this format is content for comment. Maybe I'm going to talk about this format in a specific video, but in a nutshell, this is where you assemble a checklist, a digest, maybe a list of venture firms to apply, maybe a list of accelerators to apply, the tools to use for your business, the best advisors, the creators to follow, the books you read, and then you ask people to comment in your LinkedIn posts to get the access to the full version of this summary list. What this format does is it provides true value. People who are interested apply to get it. And at the same time, they are commenting for the algorithm to understand that some action is going on in this post. And LinkedIn starts boosting this post to more audience, and even more people get that value. So that's why it's such a great working format. Number 2 is showing my achievements. I totally matched the LinkedIn course here, and I've already prepared a framework for kind of press releases about my news, about my participation on conferences, about my articles. I'm going to prepare kind of a template to plan those events throughout the year. So each week I have something to tell about in the form of achievement. Number 3, industry trends. Again, I'm completely matching LinkedIn here, nothing to add. Number 4, spontaneous posts. So LinkedIn calls it behind the scenes. I call it spontaneous posts. The only difference here is for LinkedIn, behind the scenes is mostly visual. For me, spontaneous posts are mostly my thoughts. So I have thought something, I have an urge to post, I post immediately. That's why I call it spontaneous posts. Oftentimes, spontaneous posts are the format LinkedIn also provides is remaking your own comment into a separate post. So when I start commenting somebody else's post and realize that the thought is insightful, I'm resharing it as my own post, and so more people can see it and the insight doesn't go wasted somewhere in the 30th comment under some influencer's post. And the final format I'm only learning how to do is the viral posts. I've gone to this fabulous event called Community Sprints. I've participated in November, but I'm still unpacking the algorithm. In a nutshell, a viral post is something that provokes emotion and provokes discussion, and it's usually something from your personal story. a career trajectory story, success story to be honest, sometimes a failure story because failures provoke emotions and discussions. And the goal of those viral posts is actually to gain followers. And the strategy I've learned from Nikolai Golos in those community sprints is basically copying the successful formats from other influencers by matching them to your niche and by adapting them to your own perspective. And I'm gonna experiment on that. My system of 5 types of posts works the way that viral posts are gonna hopefully attract audiences. The content for comment, so the value posts, are gonna give value plus attract audiences. The industry trends comments are gonna provide some interesting insights, so people should think like, that's interesting. The achievement posts are going to provide my credibility as an expert, but also provide some value because some of those posts are announcements of my articles and conference speeches. I'm going to not only boast that I've spoken at the conference, but also provide those insights I've prepared for the conference. And the final format, which is the spontaneous posts, is just normal life of a normal person. I need to show that I'm human. I sometimes desperately need a platform to share my thoughts, and that's why I have followers on LinkedIn and YouTube. And I also would like to show that I'm a normal person and not a machine, which is really useful for human connections. When we know the types of posts we want to post, the next step is to understand how to post specifically to maximize engagement. LinkedIn emphasizes that a great post is something with a great hook, the first 2 lines which are visible, plus the image that's also visible. It is actually a call to action to open and see the full post. The mission of a hook is to scroll stop, grab attention, so the person does open your entire post or continues watching your video. LinkedIn advises to emphasize your effort on the first 2 lines of your post or first couple seconds of your video. Then they advise providing a unique perspective that's only you. Provide data and statistics proving your point, mentions of the relevant companies, links to sources. This one is a little bit controversial because from the creators, I've seen a lot that they say if you provide external links, LinkedIn is going to slash your reach. Sometimes it's true, but as the platform puts it themselves, if it's the relevant link to the source and you explain what this link is about in the post, then it should present no problem. And again, mentioning relevant people is advisable, particularly if the person has participated in that project, in that research together with you. Then LinkedIn advises to always be useful, to prepare at least a couple takeaways for your audience. So know what they are going to be taking out of this post in terms of either information or maybe inspiration. And the final part, which is actually half of your activity on LinkedIn, is call to action and comments. So you should always provoke your audience to comment, to answer your question, or to ask their own questions in the comments. Both are super cool. And ideally, you need to spend the first hour answering the comments under your post. And the ideal tactic that I do not always use, but I want to, is actually preparing a post and posting it. One of the first actions when you come to the platform. And while you are checking your notifications, replying to your messages, the things you always do on LinkedIn when you come there, during that time, people start commenting your post and you are going to be there to reply your comments. A note on videos. Honestly, I have not experimented on that much. I've maybe posted 1 or 2 videos before. I want to run a couple experiments in 2025, but LinkedIn advises us to be under 2 minutes, to again provide our own perspective, a scroll stopping hook in the first 2 seconds, and always check for the video size guidelines because if you are gonna reformat your video, you might lose the quality of it. And an interesting thing about videos on LinkedIn, they say themselves that despite the fact that it's a video, the post still matters. So if you are about to post a video, like maybe I will reformat this YouTube video into shorts for LinkedIn, it's advisable to still write meaningful post, like text post, to accompany that video. The other interesting formats are newsletters and articles. There you wouldn't be limited by the word limit, 500 words for the post. The difference between articles and newsletters is that articles are just like normal content. They are shown in the feed, versus a newsletter is going to the user's inbox like an email. That's why it's a newsletter. And newsletters can be regular, like on the same topic for the same audience. Articles are basically a way to dive deeper into any topic. Articles for LinkedIn are indexed by search engine. So if you want to be indexed by Google, write not a post, but an article. The bottom line of this LinkedIn course: do I recommend watching it? On one hand, if you are already long on LinkedIn, you would notice that the video mentions same old truths and it's not much new there. And I've just told you the summary of the interesting points there are. On the other hand, they provide super interesting examples. They really provide examples from the users' profiles. For example, I found out about this student influencer who is active on this AI council, got an internship with NASA, and all the kind of cool stuff by the age of 19. Then I found out about this data scientist from Google who has got almost 100,000 followers, and the format that she posts is videos like question and answers with her colleagues in Silicon Valley, which attracts a lot of engagement. There was also one secret feature for which I totally recommend you passing this course. LinkedIn are open about the fact that if you pass this course, you have a chance to pitch your content to the LinkedIn editorial team, to the LinkedIn news team, and be featured on this huge account with millions of followers, on this special LinkedIn news feed, and potentially, I hope so, get noticed as a creator and get your LinkedIn Top Voice Blue Badge, because as we know, the Top Voice Blue Badges are awarded by the editing team, and this is exactly the team of LinkedIn News. So, passing this course could be your first step to getting the LinkedIn Top Voice Blue Badge, which is nice. As we know, as of December 2024, the LinkedIn Top Voice Gold pages, the community pages, are discontinued. And the only Top Voice badge, the influencer badge, is the Blue Badge. And exactly the team and the Blue Badges are provided by the LinkedIn editing team. And the first step to getting on their radar, to getting noticed, and to openly pitching your content to them is passing this course. So if you want to be a LinkedIn creator, like an influencer on LinkedIn, I think you should complete this course. Otherwise, you can just continue watching this channel, because I'm gonna post the best LinkedIn tips and tricks throughout 2025. Stay tuned.